Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another section in our English and grammar usage class. Today, we have another topic of discussion. Now, we are discussing about verbs, types of verbs. In our last class, we were discussing about transitive and intransitive verbs with examples. And today, we have another topic of discussion, that is finite and non-finite verbs. So today we are going to see what are the major differences between finite and non-finite verbs. We are going to discuss the major characteristics between them. We are going to make a comparison between finite and non-finite verbs with examples. So what is a finite verb? Finite verb is the main verb of a sentence. The first characteristics of finite verb is it acts as a verb. So in a sentence, finite verb's duty is to act as a verb. For example, in the sentence, they got home very late last night. They got home very late last night. In this sentence, we know the verb is got. So the function of got in this sentence is it is used as a main verb. It is an action but it is a main verb. So always finite verbs are used as the main verb. It is used as the main verb in a sentence. But in the case of non-finite verbs, in a sentence, they do not act as a verb. So in a sentence, non-finite verb whose function is not as a verb, but for example, sailing is my favorite sport. Sport. Sailing is my. So in this sentence, we can see sailing. The word sailing is not used as a verb. In this context, it is used as a subject. So non-finite verbs are not used as a verb in a sentence. We will discuss about more in next points. So second major difference between finite and non-finite verbs are act as a main verb of a clause. So finite verb act as a main verb of a clause. So in a clause or a sentence, it is used as the main verb. We have discussed it in our first point also. I live in Germany. So it is a clause. I live in Germany. In this sentence, live is a verb and it is used as the main verb. It is a non-finite verb. Sorry, it is a finite verb. But non-finite verbs act as nouns. So you have to listen this point. It acts as nouns, adjectives, adverbs. So a non-finite verb always used as nouns, adjectives, adverbs. For example, the sleeping cat is brown. The sleeping cat is brown. Here sleeping. It is a non-finite verb. Sleeping. Cat is brown. Here sleeping is used as an adjective. So non-finite verbs are used as nouns, adjectives or adverbs, and it is not used as main verbs. The third difference between finite and non-finite is it indicates person, number or tense. So a finite verb always indicates, it shows it agrees with subject in number and person. For example, she was waiting. Here she was waiting. Was waiting in the room before he came in. He came in. So in this sentence, was waiting, she was waiting. So here for the subject she, verb was plus waiting was used. So finite verb always agree with the subject in number and person, and when a finite verb takes singular noun, it is also used in singular. So verb should agree with subject in number and person. But in the case of non-finite verbs, it don't indicate person, number or tense. So it don't indicate because it is not used as a verb. So it is simple to use. For example, she tiptoed around the house so as to not to wake anyone. She tiptoed. So non-finite verbs we can use as normal, but a finite verb always we have to match with the subject. So the fourth character is it is used in present tense, past tense, and so a finite verb used in present tense and past tense. A finite verb is used in present tense and past tense. For example, you promised. Here it is used in promise. It is in the second form of the verb, past tense. The last, you promised me the last ticket. But non-finite are used as infinitives, gerunds and participles. So there are three types of non-finite verbs. They are infinitives. Infinitive means when we use to plus verb form, it is used as infinitives, two infinitives. Gerund, verb plus ing forms, participles, same as gerund. So non-finite verbs are used in infinitives, gerunds and participles. I struggle to understand. To understand is an example for non-finite. It is a infinitive. It is an example for infinitive. And last difference between finite and non-finite. It appear in dependent and independent clauses. A finite verb always used in independent or dependent clauses. For example, Jean said that he enjoyed painting. So in this sentence there is a dependent and independent clause, and main verb or finite verb is used in both. But in the case of non-finite, it appears in infinitival participle, infinitival participle and gerund participle clauses. So we can see non-finite verbs in infinitival, participial and gerund participle clause. For example, kids likes to play in computers. Here kids likes to play. To play is a example for infinitive, and it is also a non-finite verb. So today we were discussing about the major difference between finite and non-finite verbs, and there are 5 major difference between them, and I will give you more example in the chart. Thank you.